clinical and forensic psychologist, as well as a body language expert, and today we're going to be analyzing the behavior and body language of convicted killer Brian Cohee. Brian Cohee, at only 19 years old, murdered 69-year-old Warren Barnes. Brian Cohee believed Warren Barnes was homeless and thought that nobody would notice that he was gone. He removed his head and his hands, put them in his car, and attempted to drive it into the Colorado River. Ultimately, that didn't work, so he stored the head and hands in his closet, and they were found by his parents. And before we get started with this, a couple of quick things. One, I wanted to make sure you know this is not a psychological evaluation of any kind. These are just my opinions. In addition to that, I do want to remind you to like and subscribe if you want to see more content just like this. All right, let's go. Today, we're going to be watching footage from two different sources. First, we're going to be looking at the body cam footage after his parents called police. After that, we're going to be watching his initial interrogation by police. Now, if you want to see this entire story, Law & Crime Network did a full documentary on it, and it was voiced over by me. I have the link in the description below. All right, let's just jump right in.
Okay, so parents have some concerns of some stuff they may have found in your room?
Yeah, I believe so.
And what would it be?
Now look at his body position right here. He's very open. When we're feeling defensive, we oftentimes do something to cover ourselves or soothe ourselves. Right now, he has his thumbs casually in his pockets, body very wide open.
A human head and hands.
Like, for real human head and hands?
Yes.
From?
That fellow who went missing recently.
Which fellow was that?
Now, obviously, you can tell that he has an awkward way of speaking. And clearly, as I said, his body's very open. He's being very open about what he did. There's a human head and hands there. Now, as disturbing as this is to listen to, it is very interesting what we're seeing going on with body language with somebody who is confessing their crimes. He seems to have no anxiety about this, none at all. Oftentimes when people confess crimes or people are caught doing something, they feel anxious about it. They feel nervous. They feel the need to soothe themselves. You're seeing nothing like that from him, at least not at this point. And what that says is that he doesn't feel that much. That's a big part of the problem with people who are able to commit acts like this, is they don't feel much. Now, something that he had said prior to all of this is that he wanted to know what it was like to murder somebody. So the idea that he feels very calm about this, even though he's going to be in trouble for it, so to speak, is not shocking. Let's go back and watch this again, then we'll see what else we see.
Parents have some concerns of some stuff they may have found in your room?
Yeah, I believe so.
And what would it be?
A human head and hands.
Like,
now you heard how slowly and dramatically he said that. He slowly turned his head. This is performative. He's trying to perform here. He's trying to be dramatic. He may truly not understand the gravity of what he did. Doesn't mean he doesn't know the difference between right and wrong. Based on everything I've seen, I think he very much does. But at the same time, this is something that he doesn't take seriously. He clearly knows he's going to get in trouble for it, but he doesn't take it seriously that he took a human life, and he's trying to act dramatic about it. Listen to this part one last time.
A human head and hands.
like, for real human head and hands?
Yes.
From?
That fellow who went missing recently.
Which?
See the awkward way he's saying that? Now, from my understanding, he has a diagnosis of autism historically. I'm not providing that diagnosis. My understanding is he has been diagnosed with that. And sometimes people on the spectrum can have a sort of dramatic way of speaking. Sometimes they have an awkward way of speaking. And that very much is consistent with how he's speaking now. But there is something about the drama of it that I think he's getting swept up in.
Which fellow was that?
Warren Brown.
Warren Brown? When did he go missing?
The night of the 27th.
The night of the 27th? Okay.
You see how much he's leaving his neck exposed. Now, when we're feeling defensive, oftentimes we put our chin down. If you've seen my videos before, you may have heard me talk about that. We put our chin down because it covers our neck. Our neck's a very vulnerable place. He does not feel threatened by police at all. He's trying to show his neck as much as he can. He's trying to show how open he is. He really does not feel any form of threat at this point right now at all.
And how did you end up with him?
I murdered him.
With what?
A knife.
Why would you have done that?
I've always wondered what murder felt like.
Okay. Where did you do that at?
Underneath the bridge.
Which bridge?
The one past
Okay.
near the weird
Okay.
intersection.
Do you have anything on you that's going to cut, poke, hurt, stick me anything without reaching for nothing? Don't reach for nothing.
My phone and my wallet. That's
okay.
it.
Well, I'm going to have you face that way. Put your hands on top of your head for me real quick. I just want to make sure you don't interlace your fingers.
As you can see, he's listening to directions well. He's capable of understanding what's going on. And I think that's confusing for a lot of people, is how could somebody be so detached and yet attached enough to reality to listen to what he's being told, to follow along with what's going on. And it could be, when you think about neurologically, there's parts of the brain that are underdeveloped for people that can commit acts like this. The part of the brain, the amygdala, for example, is part of the limbic system, which deals with emotions. For some people, that's underdeveloped. For some people, for psychopaths, for example, that tends to be underdeveloped. They just don't feel fear the way the rest of us do. So something like this, he's not going to be anxious and showing all of the nerves that most people would. Even somebody that is admitting to this and wants it to be known that what they've done, they would still typically show more nervousness. So there must be something neurological that allows him to be so calm in this situation, because it's so highly unusual. Because he doesn't seem to be psychotic right now. He doesn't seem to be completely detached from reality. He's able to describe what he did, how he did it, what he did it with, and he's able to follow directions. So in that sense, whether or not he's a psychopath, he doesn't seem psychotic. In other words, he doesn't seem incapable of knowing what's going on around him, incapable of knowing the difference between right and wrong. He's just indifferent.
Kurt, stick me anything without reaching for nothing. Don't reach for nothing.
My phone and my wallet. That's
okay.
it.
Well, I'm gonna have you face that way. Put your hands on top of your head for me real quick. I just want to make sure you interlace your fingers for me real quick, all right?
Go ahead. Phone.
Okay. How do you know that?
The fact that the police officer is remaining so calm and matter of fact is great in a situation like this, because it helps somebody like Brian Cohee remain calm. They're going to be reflecting the kind of energy and behavior coming at them.
They told me that was what was in the wallet.
What do you mean that was?
No, Brian, how did you come across this
How'd
guy?
you come across the gentleman?
I was driving, and I saw a strange shape near the railway. So I parked my car and investigated it.
So you saw him putting his hand in his pocket a little bit. There's a little bit of pacifying behavior in that sense, but really, I think that has more to do with the fact that he's awkward. I'm going to guess that he would be just as awkward interacting and talking about anything as this. So we're not seeing behaviors, once again, to calm himself down talking about committing murder. He seems probably to be calming himself down or acting a little awkward just because it's a social interaction, and it's minimally pacifying behaviors at that. Now, if you look at this behavior right here, the hands on the hips, what this does is it lets people know how big you are. Look how much space I'm taking up. Look how important I am. Now, sometimes police officers will do this when they speak to people because it's a way to keep people in line. Unconsciously, we see somebody standing like this. If we see them as intimidating, it makes us less likely to act on doing something. As he's doing this right now, he's feeling important. He's thinking about how big he is. So it makes him feel big and important to have committed the act he's talking about.
Saw a strange shape near the railway. So I parked my car and investigated it, and I found it to be a man sleeping.
Okay. Where's the knife at?
It is in my sunken car. Well, it's in my car.
I had that
previously sunken.
This is going to be an investigation, and I'll take it from there.
Okay. So, did that happen when you crashed your car? Or is that totally different?
Now, you're seeing him chew on the inside of his mouth a little bit. You saw a little bit of a tongue flick. Now, this starts to get a little bit confusing, because when people are being deceptive or when they're lying and they're trying to comfort themselves, sometimes you see this. However, when people get excited, you also see this. This is something we've seen with serial killers, that when they talk about things that they've done, you see that kind of behavior going on with the mouth. You see that kind of tongue flick going on. Watch this again.
Okay. So, did that happen when you crashed your car? Or is that totally different?
That's related, but a different event.
Okay.
So I think that talking about this gets him excited. Talking about what he's done is thrilling. It's exciting for him. There's this sort of Superman pose showing how important he is. He's taking up as much space as he can. So something like this, a situation like this, might get him excited, but I don't think he's trying to pacify himself because of any sort of deception, lying, or hiding.
How's it related?
Well, when I killed him, I tried disposing of his body by putting it in the river, but I parked too low in the river. And
where's the rest of his body at?
Huh?
Where's the rest of the body at?
What parts?
The body, Brian. Where's his body?
Down the river.
Okay. I'm going to have you walk over here. You're going to sit in the back of my...
So as you can see, the arrest went on without incident. Let's go to the interrogation, see if the body language changes there.